What's this week's Parsha? Oh, and what should we name it? Ta-da! Hello, hello. Parshas Vayeshev. So, in this week's Parsha, Yaakov it starts off by Yaakov hearing his son Yosef tell him the dreams of all these sheaves bending down to him, etc. Gives him talks about giving this cloak. It was a colorful cloak given to Yosef. The brothers got jealous, etc. And they didn't like him. They sold him to different merchants as a slave. They sold him for a certain amount of coins. And he was a slave, and then the story goes on, that he went to Potiphar, he got put in jail for an act that he didn't do. He was falsely accused of something. Then the rest of the story. We can talk about another time, but to focus on the sale that he was sold for a certain amount of money. And the reason they did is because it says they hated him. They didn't like their brother Joseph. They didn't like him, so they sold him. So it was the hate that they had for him which caused them to sell him to these different merchants. So we see a rectification in the way they fixed this, that how they do this, when it came to the machzah shekel, the half shekel that was given. So there was every single person, poor, rich, didn't matter, had to give half of a shekel, half of this coin. And the idea of giving half is because every single person, you could be, not every person, basically, you have someone who's rich. He can, even though he has tons of these shekels, he can only give half. And his half is only completed when someone else, another person, gives another half a shekel and completes the full shekel. And that is the idea of obviously of loving a fellow Jew like yourself, that you think that maybe this person can say, I have the money, I can do it myself, I don't need anyone else. But the point is, no, you need someone else in order to complete your shekel. So this was a fixing for the brothers of Joseph hated him and they sold him for money. So then the machzah shekel comes and says, you do need your fellow person to help you out, even though you think you're good enough and you still need someone else. And this brings upon a love for one another, that we all need each other and we all love each other and we all need each other to fulfill our own obligations. And that is the fixing of this sale of Joseph to the different merchants. And as a side note, as an extra bonus, if you want to look at lesson from Joseph, that he had it bad from the beginning. His brothers hated him. His mother passed by the birth of his only brother. He got put in a very prominent place in Potiphar's house. He had a false accusation against him. He was put in jail. He was stuck there for months. And then, God was with him the whole time, etc. And he eventually got all the way up to the top of the top. He became second to the Pharaoh in Egypt, which is going to happen in the future Parshas. But the lesson we can learn from Joseph is that, you may think everything's going bad. You may think, oh, how can such a bad thing happen to me? Why do I deserve this? Or how can bad things happen to good people, etc.? How is it possible? How is it possible for me to, gain anything and do anything right? I have it so bad. It's not going my way. But we learn from Joseph that he kept on pushing. He never let it go. He never denied God. He never said, oh, God's not with me, he can't be with me, how can all this bad stuff happen? He was thrown into a pit before being sold, a pit full of scorpions and different things, and then he got sold to these merchants. He was a slave. He was working in someone's house as a nothing. He got thrown in prison, in a dungeon for a year or so. He had it so bad at every single stage of his life, even from birth. Just all his brothers, all the people he knew, all hated him. It was really, really bad for him. But he never let that get in his way. He always looked at the positive and said, listen, this is the situation I'm in, and I have to make the best of it. God is with me. I trust that. I know that. and I'm not gonna let get me down, and I'm gonna keep on believing and keep on pushing and keep on trying to do good and keep on trying to fight for the truth, etc. And that's something that we have to, for ourselves learn now, that we might feel that, oh, we're a victim. Maybe we have a tough upbringing. Maybe we're living in a tough situation monetarily or whatever it is, health, etc. We have to realize, keep on pushing. Don't take that as an excuse to just say, I don't have to worry about it anymore. I can just do whatever. From Joseph, we see someone who has had it the worst in every single his early, childhood up to his 20s. He had it bad in the worst of ways, and it never let him get him down. It never pulled him down and said, "You can." He always kept him pushing. He never let that victimhood get to him, and he always just kept on going. I know I said this a few times, but basically the point is that is the lesson that we have to do, is keep on pushing. They say, "Chalk if it's good." You think, well, be good, think good or be good, and that's the mentality you have to go. Never let these bad things pull you down. Instead, say, this is just a test. I'm gonna overcome. I will do it, and just never let go, because Hashem is always with us. Hashem is always leading us. Hashem is always watching us, even when it doesn't seem that way. We have to believe that it is that way, and I will leave off with that. Thank you so much for watching again. See you next time.